Well, hello again. If my voice sounds even more dull and drony than normal, it's because I'm just getting over one of these delightful summer colds that seem to come from nowhere. So what I've done here is I've mixed up 2 days fishing in a kind of way that doesn't really make any sense or any sort of logic to it, so just bear with me. It shows a bit of the experience over those 2 days at Sweethope. Now then, if you've been looking at a few of my Sweethope videos, you might get the impression that it's pretty hit and miss to get a good day at Sweethope. That isn't the case at all. The situation is that I like to fish a certain way with small dry flies as much as possible, and a lot of the times when I go fishing it's not suitable for small dry flies. It'd be probably better with the wind blowing you across the water fishing a couple of big daddies, but I'm still fishing with the little dry flies, and every time the sun comes out in like a sort of a scorching laser, it really puts the fish down for the dry flies. But I still plug away because that's the way I particularly like to fish. Although every now and again I'll stick on some nymphs or some little beaded things and have a go with those. So when you're looking at the screen here on that particular day, when I clocked in with 3 fish, there was already a chap had clocked in with 16, just fishing in a more sensible way for the weather conditions. I've fished for so many years now. I'm more concerned with catching the fish in the way I want to catch the fish, seeing the rise and sort of bringing back that sort of childhood feeling of being the hunter, and it's all kind of like magic, rather than putting on a blob with 3 buzzers suspended at a certain distance and then fishing it at X retrieve and so on, and knowing full well I'm going to get 15 or 20 fish for the day. But however you fish, the fishing has been particularly difficult because you're getting days when you're getting a lot of sun, short periods of relaxed weather, and then the wind going absolutely ballistic, sort of stirring up the water. As you can see here by the water, it's a sort of a browny colour rather than a peaty colour. It's carrying a lot of sediment, which is because of the wind, just rattling the bottom all the time. These boats are floating about a foot lower than normal, so I just hooked and lost a fish on the dry fly, and then immediately I'm into another one. Which is a nice boost, and then you get the feeling, oh, I'm going to have loads of sport today. But I fished around the rest of the little water quite thoroughly, and spent hours on the dry flies, but didn't get another rise in the rest of that fishery. although I did have a few chances on the small beaded flies. I'm fishing with a 2-weight 9'8" Shimano rod. Although it's 2-weight, a 3-weight line works nicely with it. I don't fish stupidly light on the leader. That's a 7-pound weight leader. I just don't mind bending the rod if necessary to get the fish. Anyway, I'll scurry up to the camera. This, by the way, is an old man scurrying up to the camera. You see the fish?
Oh, it's a fish.
Sweethope, it's absolutely beautiful, surrounding the water.
And boat fishing here, I'm indicating with the oar here. So if you do like an imaginary line, that semicircle at the back there is my semicircle, and this semicircle is your semicircle. Ideally, you want to be casting with the wind behind you. So in other words, if you get a fish that's diagonally some way behind, don't be tempted to cast through it, because what happens is that your line will go over my fly line and we'll both get tangled.
Yeah.
So if I'm occupied with a fish or something, feel free to cast near the fish if there's something else rising, because obviously I'm not casting then.
Yeah, of course.
And likewise with you. And if we both become aware of our little area, we're all right. Now, you don't need, because you've put a dry fly on as well, eh? You don't need massively long casts, because eventually you drift over the fish. So just have a yard or two out of line that you feel that you're happy with, and allow yourself to come to the fish. Obviously, if you see one fairly close, have a go at it. What you have to try and work out is you'll sometimes see by the back which direction they're swimming in. So you want to aim your cast in front of it, a yard or two, not where it's been, because where it's been, it's gone.
Yep, of course, granted.
And we'll give this a few minutes, and if nothing happens here, we'll move on at the top end, which is my favourite area. But
Previous clip was me showing Jack, who's pretty new to fly fishing, just what goes on when you're boat fishing together. Now this is another one of my sort of cock-ups here. There's an awful lot of sort of industrial strength weeds in front of me, and I try to be the clever devil and leave the landing net strapped to the bag rather than separating it. This fish was caught on a size 16 pheasant tail with a tiny purple bead at the head of the fly, just to give it a little bit of weight. When I landed that particular fish, the next cast resulted in another fish almost a mirror of the of that one in size and strength and so on. So, several problems here. There's a deep muddy hole in front of me. I've got the natural genetics of a hobbit, so I haven't got the arms long enough to reach it. And I haven't had a good sense to detach the landing net from the bag. You wouldn't think this was somebody that 30 years ago, or maybe 40 years ago, I used to catch up to a dozen sea trout at night without even needing to put a torch on and landing them. That fish went for the table, so don't be worried about it being distressed. It was a lot more distressed in a moment.
And it's actually taken the dry fly that then became a wet fly on the top dropper. Oh, now it's off.
This is just showing you a couple of hours after that first fish, just how the wind blew up, and there was also an icy shower thrown in just for good measure. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's all a bit of a mix. Please subscribe and tick the like or whatever. Cheers.
I took the small dry fly. Get out from under the boat.
The next two fish landed, caught by Jack, who followed my advice to the letter, and he managed to attempt a fish to grab his fly in front of the boat.
Right. Here we are. I'll bang that on the head. That can you worry about landing the fish.
Yep, see it's near here.
Just let it move about a bit. Yeah, it's a blue. It's one of the better rainbows. That. Move your arms about so you keep the tension on the rod, keep your rod up high, you know, rather than be bothered about whether you can reel in or not. There's no panic to get it into the net.